The time is now 9 a.m. We will call to order the meeting for the City of Statesboro and its City Council. The date is November the 1st, 2022. We will have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Councilmember Venus Mack.
Bow your heads. Dear Lord, thank you for all of the things you have done for us, and thank you for the things you will continue to do. Lord, I come to you asking for guidance today. I know that you will direct the council, and I have confidence that your direction is always the best way to go. I ask all of these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move down to agenda item 3, public comments. Leah, are there any public comments?
No, Mayor.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 4, consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes approval of our minutes for our work session and council sessions on October the 18th. And there's a consideration of a grant of license for the package of sale of distilled spirits, beer, and wine at LA Boys LLC, doing business as Whiskey Business, located at 1410 Northside Drive. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We move down to agenda item 5, which is a second reading and consideration of a motion to approve ordinance 2022-06, or ordinance amending Article 25A of the City Codes of Ordinances, Section 2506-A, revising amount of amenity space required in the types of outdoor areas that qualify as such. Mr. Penn, if you'll give us some insight.
Mayor, I think this is just the second reading on the ordinance that you passed the last time. We do recommend it for approval. This has to do with the open space requirement, which we amended our townhouse ordinances to be allowed.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Penn. All right. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there's no discussion by council, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We move down to agenda item 6, which is a second reading and consideration of a motion to approve ordinance 2022-07, an ordinance amending Article 14 of Appendix A of City Code of Ordinances, adding requirement of mixed-use concurrency in planned unit developments. Mr. Penn.
Mayor, members of the council, if you remember, several months ago, I think it was Councilmember Boyum that raised concern about the use of PUDs. And even though we are in the process of revising our zoning ordinance, we felt, and we went back to the planning board after we discussed it in a workshop. We talked about wanting to go ahead and amend our ordinance in order to ensure that PUDs are used for what they ought to be used for. And with the direction of the planning board, the recommendation was that the PUD should require mixed-use development, not just a way to increase the number of lots in a subdivision and things of that nature. And so this is the second reading of that ordinance, and it would be recommended to you for your approval.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 7, consideration of a motion to approve commitment of funding in the amount of $3,250 from the City of Statesboro on the High-Low Trail Organization for the development of a master plan of a bicycle trail from Athens to Savannah. Mr. Penn, you want to give us a little insight on that?
Mayor, actually, we've been, I've been here 3 years, over 3 years, and for about 2 years, we've been having discussion with the Georgia High-Low Trails, Mary Charles in particular, seeking support from the City of Statesboro to fund a master plan. And so today, what we have on the agenda, this would not be a final action, but this is your affirmation of commitment to fund the $3,200 and $50 to help pay for the master plan. And we'll say that Mary Charles is in the audience if you would like to hear from her. However, we did not specifically include it in the budget. However, $3,250, if the council is inclined to support that funding, we could make happen. And so it's for your consideration today.
Okay. Before we open it up for council discussion, I want to ask Mary Charles to come forward to give us a little insight.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see y'all. So I'm Mary Charles Howard, and I am the founder and executive director of the Hilo Trail. I live in Sandersville, and I started this project of the Georgia Hilo Trail because I'm a mom, and I moved from Athens back to my hometown of Sandersville in the middle of nowhere, and there was nowhere for me to safely ride my bike with my children. And so started this big project to piggyback onto what the Firefly Trail is currently doing. The Firefly Trail, if you look on the map on the screen, that's the red piece that's currently being built, a 39-mile trail from Athens to Union Point. And the Georgia Hilo Trail is proposed to pick up where they stop and take it another 211 miles through lots of small towns, and the bigger towns that would be the college towns would be Athens, Statesboro, and Savannah, so that people not only could travel through to all those towns, but it's more so that the people who live in those towns would have a safe space to get their kids out, get out and exercise. We've recently got some momentum. We started a program called Kids Bike League, where we've been teaching kids in these towns how to ride bikes, because this project's going to take some years and some funding, and I don't quite think it's fair that the kids who are kids now would miss that opportunity. So we've created off-road, road-separated mountain bike trails and been teaching kids here in Statesboro how to ride bikes. And we, because of that work, just recently got invited up to Trek headquarters to do a TED Talk to all the Trek employees, because we've been teaching these kids on Trek bikes. And it's really gotten a lot of national momentum. And so I'd really love it to get some Statesboro momentum. Yeah. If y'all have any questions, I'd be happy to take those.
All right, thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, we want to open it up for council for any discussion. All right, seeing that there's none,
I'm sorry, you're so quick. Yes, I want to say that I appreciate Mary Charles being here. I appreciate Carolyn Altman, who's very active with the local Southern Cyclists, being here, rode her bike here. And all of us know that this is a good thing for Statesboro to have more opportunities. And I just loved it when I heard about it, because it's an opportunity to connect where people can, any part of it, you know, like the Appalachian Trail. This will be the Georgia Hilo Trail, where you go from up in Athens all the way to Savannah, or any part thereof. And they'll take advantage of where there already are trails. Like, we're lucky, we have our Lead and Tell Trail. We've got the trail that goes all halfway to Brooklet. So they'll connect up with those. They'll connect trails already in existence. But this is just our first step, affirming that we want to see this happen and that we're committing to spend the money. They're asking each county in the trail to kick in a little bit of the money to create the master plan for where's the best place for it to go. So I'm excited about it, and hope the rest of the council is too.
any further discussion by council?
Well, Councilwoman Barr, I'm with you. I believe it's a great project. I find these types of trails really can drive economic development, so the fact that they're going through smaller communities is a good thing. I did get some information from her, though, and I wanted to make sure that we're correcting the information that's going out there. That the county's portion from the SCBB is not the county's portion. That's money coming from the city. So the county has really only put in $1625 at this point. So it just continues to be a concern for people in my district. I hear from them all the time that they pay city and county taxes, yet they only seem to get city services. And the county, when we try to call on them, doesn't show up, and we can't rely on them. And it gets frustrating for these folks that are paying both sets of taxes. So I just want to be clear, this has nothing to do with her. This is a great project, and I'm not even necessarily opposed to spending the money. But it continues to bother me when we get nickel and dime like this and don't get the recognition that our people deserve. When we're doing the work of raising this money and funding these organizations, and that's Bullitt County. That's not Bullitt County, that's Statesboro doing that. And I just want to make sure we're getting that recognition. That's all.
Thank you, Councilman Boyd. But if I could add one more thing, Mayor Charles, remind us the breakdown. It's like 15,000 that you're asking each county to chip in, and we've got, how much, 7,500 from Morris Bank? There's several folks already
That's great.
kicking in, so we're just being asked to do our little $3,000 to complete the 15,000. But you're right, I mean, you can look at Statesboro, it's Statesboro's Convention and Visitors Bureau who's kicking in part of it.
Yes, and we fund that organization pretty much 100%. I think only the park, the RV place out on 301 is the only place that gives hotel, motel tax. All the other hotels are in the city limits and are subject to city taxes and sure. So that is a Statesboro funded organization.
Yeah. And I want to say this, and
Just want to.
Councilman William makes a great point. But this is what I want to say. The people know what we do. That's why they come to us. Because if they want to get something done, they come to us. And so that's what we're gonna stand on that, because we're here to represent the interests of the people. We can't guide what others do, but we're gonna do what's right by the people of this community. And that's the one thing I'm proud of this administration and this team of employees that we have, is that they do what's right by the people all the time. So with that being said, I'm gonna ask for, I apologize, Councilwoman Shavers, I'll yield to you if you wanted to add something to that.
No, I just wanted to say that I think it's a great project as well, and I'm not opposed to, giving the money, but I just kind of gotta agree with, Councilman Boyle. We're doing our part, so we need the recognition for it. But I think it's a great project, and if it takes us doing the whole 3,000, I don't mind doing that, but come on now.
That's right. Everybody needs to step up and do their part.
Come on now.
Exactly.
Tug of war, you pull on the rope with many hands. You know what I mean?
And with that being said, I'm gonna ask for a motion of approval.
So moved.
All right. Now, y'all did.
Second.
Oh, there you go. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Mayor, just say, now, this is a commitment, however, before we can actually expend any funds, we will need to come back to you with an agreement and how the funds will be distributed and things of that nature. So this is just a commitment.
All right. We'll move on down to agenda item 8, which is a public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve application for alcohol license in accordance with the City of Statesboro Alcohol Ordinance, Section 6-13A, J Food Mark at 500 East Main Street, Statesboro, Georgia 30458. License type package sales beer and wine only. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, Kathy, are there any issues in regards to this?
No issues, Mayor.
Okay, Chief?
No issues, Mayor.
Chief?
No issues, sir.
Kane?
No issues, Mayor.
Okay. Is there anyone here to speak for this request? Is there anyone here to speak against this request? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll open it up for council discussion. Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, it's funny with Sherry a little bit. Public hearing consideration of a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2022-08, ordinance amending chapter 2 of the Statesboro Code of Ordinances establishing the Statesboro Business Commission. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Kane, if you would give us an overview of this, please.
Mayor, Council, this is an amendment of Chapter 2 in the Code of Ordinances that establishes the Statesboro Business Commission. This will be a commission consisting of 7 members who shall be authorized representatives of an entity holding an occupational tax certificate with the City of Statesboro. I wrote it so that 4 of the first appointed members shall get 2-year terms, The other 3 members will get 1-year terms, so we'll have staggered membership
Mhm.
in it. Successor members would be appointed by mayor and council as well as the initial members. Of course, it's got the standard chairman rules of procedures, bylaws that need to be approved. But the scope of authority of the commission shall be to prepare studies and reports for the purposes of informing the governing body on policy matters related to the impact of local ordinances and procedures on business opportunities and operations within the municipal limits of the city of Statesboro.
Okay. Thank you, Ken. You wanted to ask something?
I just wanted to raise a question, Mayor, cover notice, public hearing portion. At the last work session, y'all talked about the chamber having a representative. So my question is, did you want to include, I should have mentioned Mr. Kane, did you want to include that as a part of the ordinance? So that it's codified versus us having just to remember to include the chamber as a part of that commission?
I personally would like to codify, but I would lean on whatever the council decides.
Yeah, always better, I mean, because we gotta remember, we just occupy these seats. These seats outlive us, so, and it's the same with those committees. So I would say trying to codify, so maybe there's some way we can say, the chamber appoints a member to serve on the board, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because they gotta find somebody in their group, as opposed to us trying to find somebody,
yeah.
let their executive board say, hey, this is our representative that we wanna handle
Councilwoman
business
Mack,
relations. What do you think of that?
what's your
Yeah,
thoughts?
I mean, I don't have a problem if someone from the chamber wants to sit on the board. I definitely don't have a problem with that, but I don't want us to make someone from the chamber sit on the board. I think that we welcome them, you know, if someone from the chamber wants to sit on the board, we'll let them sit on the board, but I don't want us to force them, because I don't know if they're interested, if that's something that they want to do.
Okay, so, well, one of the DSDA, for example, and the SCBP both have city representatives that we pick to put on that board, right? So we don't force anybody, I mean, we're looking for volunteers, but, you know, it's somebody from inside the city that's sitting there, so you have an organizational representative, right? So we're not gonna force anyone from the chamber. The chamber is going to say, hey, who from our members wants to sit on the city board, this is what your responsibilities are, and then someone will volunteer or they'll ask somebody. But it allows us to make sure that we have someone from the chamber on that, in that group at all times, so it's an organizational connection, not necessarily personal. So,
No, I definitely, I get it, and
And
I
if-
still stand, I mean, if that's what council agrees to, then I'm fine with it, but I just do not want to force someone or put it in the ordinance that someone from the chamber has to sit on the board.
But it doesn't have to say have to. We just say that we can recommend, or we could put that language.
We can recommend it,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm fine with
Can
that, I
you-
just don't want,
Can you play with that language so that it doesn't necessarily say that they have to do it, but we want?
we would love for them to do it.
Well, we can put something to the effect that the Statesboro Chamber of Commerce shall have the option of appointing one member. And we could do it so that that chamber representative would be one of the initial 2-year appointments. And would y'all want to keep it at 7 or expand it to 8?
7 is fine.
Keep it at 7, so we'll have 3 appointed by council for 2 years, 3 appointed by council for 1 year, and 1 recommended for appointment by the Chamber of Commerce. Okay, certainly, and that shouldn't precipitate a need to revert back to first reading in the next meeting.
Okay.
And, I'm sorry, but that also doesn't preclude, like, the president of the chamber from being a member?
No, no. Okay, all right, thank you. All right, Councilwoman Mack. Okay. All right. All right, thank you, Kenny. Is there anyone here to speak for this request? Is there anyone here to speak against the request? Seeing that there's none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, any further council discussion? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion by council to approve moving this, agenda item 9 forward?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
With
Go ahead.
Kane, will you outline the changes?
Yes, Councilman Boyd. Last thing is we would put in section 285, Statesboro Chamber of Commerce shall have the option to appoint one member to a 2-year term. If appointment is not made by,
From their membership.
by the chamber, then mayor and council would fill that spot.
Make sure it's from their membership though. We don't want just appointing random people.
Right. Membership of someone who's a member and also is an authorized representative of an OTC holder.
Right. No worries.
Okay. All right.
So
We had a
moved.
we had a first, we had a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We move down to agenda item 10, which is consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2022-38, a resolution authorizing the destruction of certain municipal records. Mr. Penn.
Mayor, members of the council, we have lots of records, and it's probably more pronounced because of the renovations and having to relocate our records. But annually and monthly, we have records that become eligible to be destroyed, but we have to get authorization from you to destroy those records. And so what you have before you is a list of records that have outlived their purpose, and we recommend approval of the destruction of these records.
Thank you, Mr. Penn. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
We move down to agenda item 11, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2020-39, a resolution approving the application for the governor's office of planning and budget improving neighborhood outcomes and disproportionately impacted communities funding grant application. Mr. Penn.
Mayor, members of the council, the governor has made available some, this is actually ARPA funding, and in particular, it is targeted toward parks that meet certain requirements within certain census tracts. And so what the grant would be for is for a max of $2 million. And part of the Creek on the Blue Mile includes improvements to Memorial Park. And so we are asking for your authorization to submit the application for this grant through the governor's Office of Planning and Budget in order to move forward when, at the appropriate time, improvements to Memorial Park. And so that's what our recommendation is to you this morning, and we're asking your authorization for the submittal of the grant.
Thank you, Mr. Penn. Any discussion by council?
Just for clarification, Memorial Park? please?
Fairroad. Fairroad.
And that, I'm just curious, that's going to improve disappropriately impacted communities?
It does meet the requirements.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation, yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't see a whole lot of that, so.
Yeah. Is it a motion to approve by council?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 12, consideration of a motion to accept the high bid from the GT Distributors of Georgia for a block of firearms to be sold as surplus. Mr. Penn.
Yeah, Mayor and council, obviously, we, in the police work, we come across weapons that, after we've gone through court cases and all that, these weapons remain in our possession. And once we have disposed of the court cases, we like to get rid of those guns and weapons. And so what we're asking is we bid out, receive bids for the purchase of these surplus weapons, and we're asking you for authorization to sell them to GT Distributors of Georgia for this block of firearms.
Okay. Any discussion by council?
Yes, Mayor. Chief, you mind if I ask a quick question?
Sure, good morning.
How many guns, gun-type cases, guns have been confiscated in the past 12 months? I mean, I just know it's a crazy problem.
This particular block of firearms, like 99 firearms, now some of these might have been collected over a couple of years and those court cases had to run.
Right.
Annually, we do this and we try to dispose of anywhere between 60 and 100 guns, and so I would say that that's a pretty good annual number because there's just kind of a constant inflow of them. I
And
would say
those are-
similar.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Those are guns you're collecting in the course of arrests or, yes?
That's correct. So if they're reported stolen, of course, they go back to the owner.
Right.
But a lot of times, if the insurance company has paid the owner off, then they will just have us dispose of the gun. Or if they're illegally possessed firearms, or if we just can never find the actual owner, say, or if the owner used it in the commission of a crime and the court has decided not to give it back to them, that's how we come into ownership of them.
And then just to follow up on the stolen guns, about how many guns are stolen out of unlocked cars a year?
I can get you a specific number if you want, but I think that the last time we ran those stats for you guys, it was about 30, 40 annually.
Yeah, unlocked cars, right?
That's correct.
These aren't smash and grab or break-ins, these are unlocked cars.
Yes, sir. The vast majority of our entering auto cases are on unlocked cars.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Sure.
And then I just have one more question for Mr. Penny, and that's accepting the high bid is good in this case, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because that's money coming in.
About $15,000, we didn't count on.
Just want people to know, high bid's good in this case.
Yes.
All right. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We move down to agenda item 13, consideration of a motion to approve a contract with 120 Water in the amount of $32,832 to provide lead and copper water sampling services. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, there's some federal requirement that we do some checking of all of our water connections and ensuring that, and Steve might have to help me with this, to ensure the safety of our water, and we have a time frame that this has to be done. And we have like 14,000 connections that have to be tested. And what we're bringing to you is a contract from a sole source company that can help us get this done within the time frame that is required. We have like a 2-year window to get this done. And so we have we're recommending the contract with 120 Water. Several cities in the state have also contracted with them for the same service. And so we budgeted about $40,000 in order to be able to cover that cost during this period. And so we're recommending that you award the contract to 120 Water in order to provide that lead and copper water sampling services in Statesboro.
Thank you. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
All right,
All right. We move down to agenda item 14, other business from city council.
Mr. Mayor, I do have a comment as usual. Two things. I wanted to remind everybody to go vote next week. I didn't know why it wasn't first Tuesday, but I looked it up, and it's the first Tuesday in November after the first Monday. So that's why we're not voting today, because today's the first of the month. But election day is next Tuesday, so if you haven't voted early, go vote your conscience. Participate in the process. Help elect folks who represent your views and you think will do a good job for us. Also want to just thank the local organizations. So many churches and groups stepped up to provide Halloween activities for our young people. That's a wonderful thing about living in a small town, that there were good things they could do safely to enjoy the holiday. I saw a post on Facebook, which is one of my sources of wisdom, that said Halloween is how it should be all the time. Somebody rings your doorbell and you open it and you welcome them with gifts. So it's a wonderful thing about Halloween. We do it for the children. But that could be an inspiration to us to remember to be welcoming and help take care of one another. So thank you, everybody in Statesboro who welcomed strangers at your door and made them feel welcome and happy. That's it.
All right. Any further discussion from council?
I have something I want to get more, just clarification on. I spoke with Mr. Penny Council over the weekend. A resident of Statesboro called me. They were at the park and the bathroom door was locked. So I reached out to Mr. Penny and we found out that there was an event happening and there were porta potties there. The person who called me could not find the porta potties. And so I'm just curious, we redid these parks for our community, for them to be able to enjoy them. And one of the main complaints before we did the park was that the bathrooms over at Louettamore were always locked. And so I do understand that they were locked because they were out of order and some things was happening. So my question or my concern is, what can we do to make sure that this doesn't happen? Like, I know with them being out of order, that's something out of our hands that we can't handle. But how can we address these issues so that doesn't happen? If a family, my children are older, so I wouldn't experience this, but if I was a mom taking my kids to the park and my child had to go to the bathroom, I want them to be able to use the bathroom. And I feel that we should want them to be able to use the bathroom, especially because we dedicated so much money to these parks. And I'm going to say this, and this is me saying this, that I don't hear these issues at other parks. And I know, go ahead, Mr. Penny, go ahead. But I mean, Mr. Penny did speak to me and addressed it, but what can we do to make sure that if it is out of use, if it was, what can we do to fix it and keep it going? What can we do to fix it and keep it rolling? Can we find out who's making it be out of order? Because it can't be, it's out of order, so it's locked.
Yeah.
Especially on the weekends.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple of things that we have to address in regards to that. And you're right, it's not happening in other parts. But the other parts are not having the same problem. And the problem that we have is that we got some kids that's going in and they're throwing rocks and sand into the toilets, and that's what's causing them not to work. And I know there's a lot of adults that's over there for the basketball games that's on the weekend. And what we're asking is, if you're there, watch the kids, pay attention to them, and things of that nature. And I think maybe one solution maybe is we open the bathrooms at a certain time, we close them at a certain time, and then we have periodic checks throughout the day. And this can be done through recreational staff. We can have an officer to go by and check on and make sure those things are happening. But my call is to the greater community, is that we're working diligently to build this city up across the board. So it doesn't matter if you live on the west side of Statesboro, on the north side, or wherever, you see dirt moving in your community, whether it's a newly paved road, whether it's a new park, whether you're seeing, you're going to shortly be seeing new homes being renovated. We're doing everything in our power. But at the end of the day, this is an all of us mission. Statesboro doesn't consist of, these individuals that sit up here and work in this building. This city is about all of us. And so we all have a responsibility to do what's necessary to make sure we have a high quality of life across the board. But it is frustrating to go to the park and the door's locked, and in your mind, it should be open.
Right.
It's a public park, it should be open. But then at the same time, if it's broken, we can't let them go into a broken bathroom and, either, risk causing harm to themselves or getting into something.
No, and
Yeah.
I definitely understand that. I just want us to be aware and
Yeah.
let's do all that we can do to have those restrooms operating.
Yes. Go ahead, Mr.
So Mayor and members of the council, the Parks and Recreation Department, Dubois County, does a good job of ensuring that those bathrooms are open. But the problem has been, since y'all spent $1.5 million between Louettamore and Grady Street Parks, those bathrooms have been vandalized and demolished more than 3 times. And we have video cameras, but one of the things about video cameras is you want to be careful about placing those when people are going to bathrooms.
Yeah.
So having video cameras to be able to identify who the vandals are become a little bit problematic. But Mayor, to your point about the greater good, the problem is y'all spent good money making facilities that everybody enjoys. But yet still somebody thinks it's okay to go over to Grady Street Park and destroy those bathrooms, which make it difficult, Ms. Matt, when the parents take their children to the park. You know, we didn't even have water fountains until we renovated that park. And so that's where the issue is. They will, the Parks and Recreation staff will open, they have staff assigned to ensure the park, those things are open. But whenever they're demolished or vandalized, it's not repaired in a day. And right now with supply chain issues, it takes a little bit longer to get those things. So what we need to do is for the public, when you see something that's not right, you gotta say something. And the police can do their part, but we need the public to be on guard as well.
I just want to echo that too. Like, you got to care about your community. Point blank, period. You just got to care about your community. And just to echo what everyone else is saying, we put in that community what you wanted. Take care of it. Take care of it.
Can't say that enough. All right. Anything else for other business from city council? Okay. We move down to city manager comments.
Mayor, members of council, this morning, I want to introduce to you our newest employee. Y'all authorized me a couple of years ago to hire an assistant to the city manager before the pandemic. We held off, but we did go through a process, and we hired an assistant to the city manager. And so this morning, I'd like to introduce to y'all Olympia Gaines. Olympia, would you please stand up? I think most of y'all know Olympia. She's on the job for the second day, and she's got a lot of learning to do about city government, but the good thing is she understands government. So her learning curve isn't as long as others, but we are happy to have her.
Yes.
And so some of those things y'all always ask me to do, now I got somebody I can.
Welcome to the good guys.
Good. We're glad to have you, Olympia. Good deal.
Thank you.
And Olympia talks a lot, y'all.
I do want to just point out a couple items that are in your FYI packet. The Department of Community Affairs with the state, with the Aspen Aerogel project, that project's going to create about 300 jobs with Aspen Aerogel, but some of the infrastructure, we needed some additional grant funds, and so the city had to do the application. And so we've got notice that we're in the right position now to get, I think it's almost $750,000 for that project, and so we can start the process of bidding and all that. With these funds, if you get out of sequence, you can jeopardize the funding. And so thanks to our staff and we did hire a consultant to work with us on that, but it's showing that we're working with the Development Authority with Bullock County to get the funding needed, because that $750,000 is a part of a couple of $1 million that we need to get infrastructure in the park to service that entity. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. And then the other one is, we do have a date of November 29th for a joint meeting with Bullock County at 2:30 in the afternoon. We will have to find a location. They are under renovation. Our space may not be big enough to have both commissions seated in the right place, and so we'll need to locate someplace for that meeting. But November 29th is what we're looking for that joint meeting.
Do that after Thanksgiving, so we'll still be asleep.
Yeah.
You better be wide awake. You gonna be wide awake.
He'll be hyped up.
I'll be careful.
We'll move down to agenda item 16, public comments. We have Wayne Alexander signed up for public comments.
Good morning, City Council. I appreciate you allowing me to speak. I've got a couple of questions for the council, and things that I've been hearing over the years I've been here. Love Statesboro. Just see some things being overlooked that I've got on my heart that I want to hear about. First question would be, where are we on the zoning changes for tiny house situations? And or adding to that, where are we in the situations of our homeless? In regards to the subdivision that I heard about several years ago that was going to happen, and all of a sudden it got tabled. I don't think you gentlemen or ladies had anything to do with that. Just got bypassed somehow. Could I get some input onto those two questions?
Okay, and so tiny homes, that kind of predates me, so Phil, I'm gonna look, are you familiar with that?
Not really, but we are in the process of redoing our entire code as far as looking at zoning and housing and things like that. So that is certainly, and it's Kathy's right there, so she's nodding and writing it down. So, so I would say that would be an ideal time to consider, like, what would be ideal places to put that, you know, because tiny homes are great, but you don't want to put them too far away from your city center, because, you know, you don't have the ability for cars and that kind of thing, so you need to make sure that they are situated properly. But that's certainly something we could consider. And wouldn't this be an appropriate time?
Yes, that should be a
It
part
was
of
under
it.
my understanding that the zoning didn't cover that, and it needed to be.
Right, and that's what we're doing, is we're revamping our code. I mean, because some of our codes are from the 60s and 70s, you know, before there was a mine. You know, when we were still aluminum, using aluminum wiring, if you, okay, you know, okay.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, what was your second question?
And our homeless situation.
Homeless was the first one, what was the second question?
Tiny
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought there was another one. But you said something about a subdivision that was coming, and I thought maybe he was talking about.
Years back, they had talked about a mini type subdivision for the homeless to go into, and it was over off of Packing House Road. And I live on 24 in the Laurel Point Apartments, close to that area. And, you know, we had the death behind Kmart years ago of a young homeless gentleman. And they've been kind of ousted and moved down, and they've moved closer to our area. And, you know, we need to address that situation. We have a lot of people in that situation. And as today's prices are being risen, just like at our complex, we were told that everything's going through the roof next year. If you sign a release, you're going to be hit with a higher. If you're on fixed incomes, you're the next person who's going to be out in the cold. And we need that addressed by the city if we can.
This kind of alludes to, you know, I know Councilman, I know you when we was discussing the park situation, and you was a little like, we don't see it in that area. The city of Statesboro, when we came, you know, 5 years ago, the city of Statesboro had a poverty rate that was above 50%. Right now, we're in and around 42% poverty rate. We're seeing it go down, but this is a long-term fight for us. This is something that we got to put pieces in as we go. And I would love to be able to say there's some quick fixes for us and we can do some quick things. There's not. But I do think we do have opportunity to be able to look at some resources, whether it's inside of the city or outside of the city, to address homelessness. And I think the one thing that we have to be abundantly aware of, and we run into this all of the time, Statesboro today is not Statesboro of the 70s and 80s. We are growing tremendously. As a matter of fact, a report has just has come out just discussing the population explosion that's expected in this area. So when you see us talking about fixing up neighborhoods and infrastructure and roads, it's to support all of those things, because we recognize that this is going to be an area where a lot of people are going to be moving into. But with that also being said, that means that we're going to be dealing with a lot more urban issues, issues that we're not used to dealing with in the past. You know, we're going to have to address poverty. We got to address young people. We got to address neighborhood revitalization and things of that nature, and workforce development. And that's because of where we are going in this area. And so with growth, there's both good and bad. We're getting, you know, a great opportunity with Hyundai and Aspen Air Jail. We're super excited about that. But if you, what I don't want to mislead people and have them believe that we're going back to what it used to be in the 80s and 70s and states. And for many of us, we don't want to go back there. But we have to be honest about where we are. And with the amount of growth that we are expected to have in this area, it's going to be a tremendous amount of growth. But I think that this team, this council, are equipped to help prepare this city for the things that's coming down the pipeline. But homelessness is something that we got to address. We got to figure out the most strategic way to address it. And then we have to make sure that we're able to garner whatever resources are necessary to address it.
And I just like to add to what the mayor is saying. Now, this is the second time, this is the second council meeting that someone has brought homelessness up.
In a row.
In a row. So I am, if this is the second time for me, I believe in signs. This is something that we need to be working on now. We need to be taking our small steps now, because let's get ahead of the game. We need to get ahead of the game. And this is something that I've been echoing since I got on council. We need to address this homelessness. So I'm with you on it. All the way I am with you on it. And it's going to be my business to see what we can do about this homeless problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander.
I do want to make a point of personal privilege, and this does not reflect any of the positional stances with anyone that's up here outside of myself. And what I want to say is not just to the city of Statesboro, but to our country. We have a violence problem. We have a violence problem up and down the board in this country. It's just not in certain neighborhoods, it's everywhere. We should not be waking up to a Speaker of the House husband who's been beat in the head with a hammer, and a young man that had a rap career shot and killed. We shouldn't be waking up to this. This should not be normalized. School shootings should not be normalized. These things should not be normalized. It is not okay, America. We are in a very difficult place through our normalization of violence. We are seeing violence in our schools. We are seeing violence in our neighborhoods. We are seeing violence amongst our political leaders, people that's supposed to be leading all of us. All of us. And I'm going to say this is strictly the view of Jonathan McCullough. For political leaders who are elected to have the trust of the people, to the way they are behaving is disgusting. If it's okay for you, if you think it's okay for Kathy, for Gabby Gifford to be shot in the head, or Nancy Pelosi's husband be shot in the head, or January the 6th, or the congressional baseball shooting, if any of these things are okay with the people that you are electing, that is a problem. That is a problem. America, we are better than this. We are better. We got to put politics aside and ask ourselves, are we about America or are we about party or a individual? I am highly concerned about where we are right now as a nation, because we are normalizing bad behavior by individuals that represent thousands, if not millions of people, and they are acting like spoiled, rotten children. There's nothing funny about this. There's nothing cute about this. If you didn't see a coup attempt on January the 6th, that's a problem. If we can't say our electoral process works, that's a problem. If we can't say school shootings is an issue, that's a problem. We have to get ourselves together, and this is for the entire country. I don't care what side of the aisle you own. If violence in any shape, form, or fashion is okay with you, that is a problem. Because in this country, we are turning on each other. We are looking at each other and saying that that is my enemy. And it's right here in Statesboro too. It's right here in Statesboro too. The meanness that these cowards have on social media is ridiculous. The meanness. We are the same people that go to these Statesboro High games, these Georgia Southern games. We go to the fair together. We're trick-or-treating at each other's houses, and we are each other's enemy. Statesboro, you two, we got to do better. You got to do better. And I'm here to tell you, I keep telling you, I'm not a politician. I'm a truth speaker. And I don't care if the truth offends you or not. Deal with it. We got to do better, and it is all of our responsibility. We cannot continue to keep the secrets of these individuals that's eating away at the core of our community. This is unacceptable. And if you're not saying anything, and if these people think it's okay to talk about these things around you, and you're not saying anything, you're a part of the problem too. We all know that we are in this community together. We are neighbors. We can do better, Statesboro. And that has nothing to do with anybody up here on this council. None of that. These are solely the thoughts of Jonathan McCall. With that being said, we're going to move down to agenda item 17, which is consideration of a motion to enter into executive session to discuss real estate. Real estate matters in accordance with OCGA 50-14-3B. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Mr. Mayor, yes, but could we get a picture before we run everybody out of Mary Charles and Carolyn, please? Whatever order we need to, but before
Yeah,
we
we're
run them out.
gonna go ahead and finish this and then do that, okay? Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mary Charles, let's get it.